say no to the Keystone Pipeline. We've been able to delay the decision on the Keystone Pipeline by President Obama for a long time. They keep saying, okay, decision's going to be made, decision's going to be made, and then there are giant demonstrations like this with hundreds of people getting arrested, and this is what makes the difference. This is what tells them, like, oh, maybe this isn't a good idea. We're just going to push it back and push it back for as long as we possibly can, and so this might be our last chance, and so we have to tell President Obama that this is a terrible idea.
I'm here to stand in solidarity with students from at least 42 states across the U.S. To fight the Keystone XL pipeline.
Important as the blockades that are happening of the actual pipeline and the amount of resistance that's going on out at the site of the pipeline. I think that that's way more important and should be more focused on and should be more supported. I think that instead of having a march in D.C. where students are getting arrested at the White House, they should all go out to where the pipeline is being built and help support frontline communities and in every way that frontline communities think is necessary. So if that means like blockading the pipeline, then that's what we should do. I think it's important for students to get involved and for students and youth in general to get involved, but I think that it's also very important to like see it in a larger context and like what's the purpose of this versus maybe what other things we could be doing to help support frontline communities.
And when you do civil disobedience, you're basically showing that as youth we're willing to put our records on the line, we're willing to get arrested for a cause we believe in. Doing things like this are very active because it shows the world that about 450 people are risking arrest today. It really is an awakening to people. And in 2011, when they did the first Keystone XL protest, Bill McKibben, who is Start350.org, he and a bunch of other people also got arrested in civil disobedience, and they had about 1,000 people, 2,000 people show up to that event, and it made national headlines. It really kicked it off. And in contrast, last year they had an event with 50,000 people, and no one got arrested, and it barely made a splash, and no one really talks about it, no one really knows it happened.
Yeah, I mean, students are here from around the country. I think that they could make it out too, and like I think that it's a lot more important for people to make it out there than it is to make it out here. Yeah, I think that it's like these types of things are important in a certain way, but like I think that their purpose is a lot different, and I think that we should be putting a lot more focus and a lot more of our energy towards frontline community fights.
What's next after this is actually something we talked about yesterday. There was a training yesterday about what's going to happen here, kind of like peace action kind of stuff. And at that, they talked about how do you take the energy from this and go back to the state and really increase from there. I think, again, one thing that this really supplies is solidarity and kind of to show people all across the world and the U.S. that they really are connected. There are people making the same fights and doing the same things that they're doing, and that really the Keystone XL pipeline affects everybody, not just certain states or certain individuals. It's a world issue. It's a civilization issue, it's our generation's issue. And by being here, it allows people to connect with that, take that energy and go home and say, this is what I did, this is what I took part in. This is kind of the change we're starting to make.
It's great to see young people becoming involved in the most important issues in the world. It's nice to know that people are not just sitting around hoping that someone else is going to do it for them. And this is a major issue which is going to affect so many people right across the US, but also in other countries as well. And it's an example to people across the world. Non-violent civil disobedience is the way forward, and I think that the US government ought to be sending someone out here to address the crowd rather than staying inside the White House and trying to ignore it.
We have a long legacy of student power that has made change in so many generations before us, and this is the largest demonstration in a generation of people like this doing this. There are so many people who are going to be on the lines of this pipeline who aren't able to be here and stand up against it, and so because we're here, that's what we're going to do, and so we're going to sit and stay and refuse to move until they arrest us. and it's just really important that we be here today.
The environmental degradation, it affects even more people than those who are initially within the area where the problem is happening. Everybody should take an interest in this, and I'm really glad, as I say, that these young people have turned out here en masse to actually do something about it, raise their voices and let the government in the US know that this is not acceptable.